Welcome to SOS. Today's show, we're talking Kenny Pickett or Geno Smith. Who would you rather have start at quarterback for the Raiders? Plus, will Pete Carroll be the coach of the Silver and Black in 2026? All that and so much more. Plus, two great interviews. Bosh and Austin Ekeler join the show.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Who should start at QB for the Raiders, Geno or Pickett? Clark Colley of Pew on Facebook says, Pickett has not played for almost 2 years. He was a backup last year, and I do not believe he had a chance to play until yesterday. Give him a chance to finish the season and see what he can do. Smith had his chance, and we know he's not the same player who played in Seattle.
Hello and welcome here inside Sound Off Sports. I'm Mike Davis, joined by, is that Marty McFly or is that James Edward Barrickman IV?
It might be Marty McFly, but I don't think Marty McFly was wearing a branded whatever you call this puffer jacket.
They probably didn't want to keep it branded in the film, but we're back here on Sound Off Sports. Not back in the future, we're back on Sound
in the
Off
den.
Sports. Yeah, back here in the den. Great to be with you, James. We got a big show. We got a lot of people joining us today. We got a Hall of Famer, Bosh, two-time NBA champion, 11-time All-Star, joining us in the studio. He's got a brand new book. All young athletes are going to want to read that. He talks a little NBA Cup with us. Plus, Washington Commanders running back Austin Ekeler. James, this is the GOAT of when it comes to fantasy football, Mr. PPR.
We've said it in shows past, but we only get big dogs on this show.
That's really
we
what's happening.
don't play with the small potatoes around here. Big dogs only.
I know. We got a lot of good people on this show. Two big interviews today, but we're kicking off the show today talking Silver and Black Raiders. Kenny Pickett or Geno Smith? We saw Kenny Pickett took the field versus Philadelphia. The Eagles losing 31-0 last week. Listen, I think you're going to have a unique perspective on this, James, as a Yinzer, because Kenny Pickett, a Pitt guy, plays for the Pitt Panthers in college. He's working out in the same, gym as the Steelers.
That's why Mike Tomlin loved him so much. They got to see what he could do down there on the south side.
Same training room for everybody at home. So if you go to the University of Pittsburgh, you play for the Steelers, you got the same digs. Coach Tomlin drafts him as a first-round quarterback. And, Kenny, your perspective on him as a Steeler, his time there, what was it?
Kenny is probably not an NFL franchise quarterback. However, in all of his stops across the NFL, whether it's been Pittsburgh, Cleveland, or Las Vegas.
Philly, too.
And Philly as well. He has not gotten the requisite help to help him become a potential franchise quarterback. He's not had one competent play caller as a starter. He's not had proper weapons that you need as a guy who can't really take over a game just by himself. So I think Kenny's kind of gotten a raw deal in his time in the NFL.
100%. Now, we got two calls we're going to be getting to. Let's go to the first one because we asked everybody at home, would you rather have Geno Smith or Kenny Pickett starting for the Silver and Black?
I do want Kenny Pickett, or I don't know why they're still benching Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell needs to be in. I understand that he might be hurt still. His wrist, it's a wrist injury. It's okay. He had the whole season to heal. We're in week 16 now? It's week 16, and he is still not able to play because of Carroll's decision. He is able to play. He's good to go. I've seen on ESPN. I've done my research. I understand they need to have a little quarterback, whatever, who gets the starting spot out of Kenny Pickett and Aiden O'Connell. I understand that Aiden O'Connell is supposedly hurt, quote-unquote hurt, but I do think Aiden O'Connell is the best decision for the Raiders. End of story. Have a great day. God bless.
All right, thank you so much for that passionate call. James,
Can I just say one thing?
Yes, say something.
Raider Nation, why are we still trying to convince ourselves about Aiden O'Connell?
I think
it's a similar thing to Will Howard in Pittsburgh. We want so bad to have the next franchise guy that we're propping up guys that we deep down know probably aren't that.
Raiders fans have a very soft spot in their heart
For Aiden O'Connell.
I don't know what it is. A lot of people have that feeling.
Is it because he
towards
was
him, that
drafted
sentiment.
here and he's kind of been through the ringer with them? Or I don't know what it is, but we got to quit trying to convince ourselves on AOC as the future, because he's just not.
I mean, the truth is there's not a quarterback on the roster who is
Correct.
the future. That's the facts, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not really Pickett. It's not Geno Smith. It's not Aiden O'Connell. It's going to be a draft pick in next year's draft, and that's the name of the game. I think you say this all the time, James. Tankathon,
You knew exactly where I was going.
You kind of want to tank if you're a Raiders fan. I mean, I hate to say it. The NFL's not about losing, but you want to
No, it
be,
is. If you're the Raiders,
You want to be the first or second pick, and you want to be able to get Dante Moore or Fernando Mendoza.
The correct answer to this question is whoever doesn't screw up your chances at the number 1 pick. If that's Kenny Pickett, roll with Kenny Pickett. If it's AOC, roll with AOC. For the Raiders, you look at the Titans, they're in contention for that spot. The Giants are also in contention for that
The
spot.
Jets would want to trade up for that.
Those two teams are not quarterback-needy teams, but they are very much willing to trade down for the teams that are.
There's a lot of...
So you got to be
Browns,
careful.
You got to look after the Browns, the Cardinals. I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to want a Fernando Mendoza, who is that Jared Goff prototypical quarterback who can play 15 years and compete.
It is imperative for the Raiders to not screw up and win a stupid game down the stretch. And it sounds dumb, but I'm being serious.
I'm just telling you, Pete Carroll and this team, they would win.
I'm
worried.
That Week 17 game
against the Giants
is the Super Bowl for Raiders fans. That's as big as it gets. You cannot mess up your opportunity at this number 1 pick. So
no, you got to put yourself in a position where you don't have to package so many assets to get to number 1. You already want to be at 1 or you want to be at 2. Let's get to one more call quickly, James.
I think Kenny Pickett should start. Geno Smith hasn't been doing that good.
Wow. Okay, James, we got to give a big shout out. Fest Middle School, Fest Flyers.
Fest Flicks Daily on YouTube, baby. Check them out.
Thanks for giving us a buzz, saying hi. Keep up all the good work over there, Fest Flyers. Listen, guys, coming up after a short break, we have a very special guest here joining us in the studio, a running back with the Washington Commanders, Austin Ekeler, joins me next.
Who should start at QB for the Raiders, Geno or Pickett? John Harrison on Facebook says, with this offensive line, you could suit up Superman and it would make no difference.
All right, guys, so if you love football, then you gotta love my next guest here on Sound Off Sports. It's the one, the only, Austin Ekeler, joining me here for Sound Off Sports. Austin, thanks so much for coming into the studio. It's great to see you, man. Are you a Vegas local? What's the deal?
I am of now. So I played for the Chargers for 7 years.
Yeah.
And about 4 years into that, signed my next contract and started getting some more promotional money. And I was like, how can I save some money? Going across the border to start getting my residency in Nevada. Started to meet friends out here, and now this is where I reside every single offseason. Unfortunately started a little early for me this year, so that's why I'm out here.
I know, and we're going to get into your recovery, where we're hoping you're doing well with that. Listen, he's also here to promote something. We're going to be diving deep into this. We all know you guys love fantasy sports. You love gambling on the NFL and things of that nature, but he's the founder, Austin, of this great new platform called Fantasy Royale. It's going to be completely free to join. There's a lot of great contests coming up, so we're going to be learning what you guys are doing for the NFL playoffs. But let's start with the Achilles tear and the injury.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing it. I said there's no parking here. We have so many guests at Fox 5 right now. Austin is such a good dude. He was going to park in a different parking lot because he didn't want to take a handicap spot, and we both had the same joke.
Yeah, we did. I texted him like, look, I guess I couldn't take the handicap because I just, tore my Achilles. But no, it's fine. It's getting back into it. I actually was hitting some squats the other day, so that was nice. Getting the progression, getting the strength back, and it's been the biggest injury I've ever had actually in my career. So
what's the deal with the Achilles thing right
I
now
don't
between
know.
Halliburton,
Yeah.
I mean Tatum,
Najee
all these
Harris.
guys?
We just saw, the Colts. What is his name? Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He just had the same thing. So what's going on in athletics?
I don't know, because for a lot of those guys, it's no contact. There's no contact.
Yours was no contact.
Mine was no contact.
Thursday night football versus Green Bay, week 2.
I go to Plant.
Take me through it.
Yeah, so I run my route. I'm in the flat. I got the flat route, so I got my flare control. The ball goes like thrown across the field, so I'm gonna go be a good teammate and follow the ball. I go to Plant, and apparently my Achilles decided that was enough and decided to just snap. I thought someone had kicked me, so I actually turned around.
All right, thank you so much to the great Austin Ekeler for spending so much time with us here in the studio. We got so much good stuff we get to in that interview. Go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports, to check out the full interview and to learn more about Austin's other venture, Fantasy Royale. Go to Fantasy Royale with an E at the end. That's Fantasy Royale with an E, .fun, or Fantasy Royale official on social media.
You're watching Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
All right, guys, Mike Davis here, Sound Off Sports. I am so pleased to have a Hall of Famer here with me in the studio. A guy played 13 seasons in the NBA, 2 NBA championships, 11-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, like I mentioned. He's also the author of this beautiful new book, Letters to a Young Athlete, on Amazon right now. You got to make sure you get it. Forward by Pat Riley, the great, the one, the only, Chris Bosh. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
It's
I'm
good to
see
see
you.
you.
It's good to be here.
There's so much to talk to you about because, dude, you're Mr. Basketball in Texas. Okay, 40-0, you took this team, Lincoln High School. You're in the robotics club while you're doing all this basketball. And then, of course, you go on to have this tremendous NBA career. You might be one of the... I'm listening to your Christmas music this morning, Daddy Jack Records. So you might be one of the smartest dudes to ever come out of the NBA. You taught yourself guitar after having the whole blood clot issue, and you had to retire. How smart are you?
Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. That's a hell of an intro. I'm learning, man. I can't say that I'm smart. That's like always a dangerous thing, I feel, to fall into, so I never wanted to fall into that trap. I'm always learning. I'm always looking for something new to do, how to expand myself, how to expand my mind, and just have fun. And to be honest, it's just me. That's just what I love to do.
Who
it's just
you
what
are.
I do. Yeah, it's just who I am.
It's beautiful because, growing up, and it's like it makes sense why you went to Georgia Tech now with all your engineering prowess, your interest in all these different things. A lot of this makes sense. We have so much to talk about, but let's start with NBA Cup before we get to the book and everything else. So NBA Cup, now we're seeing the Knicks and the Spurs are going to be heading off in the championship game. NBA Cup's a new thing. Remember, it's NBA Cup. Players, the guys that you've spoken to, the guys you're in touch with, how are they taking to this? Because this wasn't around when you were a player, but
it was not.
I think it's a great concept.
I think it's been interesting moments in the league, especially I feel like there was pre-bubble and post-bubble.
Right.
And it's always been not an issue, but something to get the fans more into it, especially during this time, because there can be a slight lull before Christmas.
82 games.
82 games is a marathon, and sometimes, that's why you get paid the big bucks to keep that focus and keep going. But that doesn't make it easy. So I think now I've only heard great things about the NBA Cup, and I think now it's just something for the players to look forward to, the fans to look forward to, something to shake up just what is usually the regular season. So they've got the courts. Right? You've got money on the line. That's great incentives to play for sometimes. And I think there is a general interest from fans everywhere just seeing the best basketball and seeing the best basketball players compete.
Thank you so much to the Hall of Famer, Chris Bosh. What a lovely guy. Go get his book right now, Letters to a Young Athlete. You're going to want this for Hanukkah, for Christmas, for everything. It's a must read. It's wherever books are sold. And go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports, to check out the full interview.
Will Pete Carroll be the Raiders head coach in 2026? Jesse Rush Dillard on Facebook says, if the Raiders keep firing the head coach, you won't be building a team. You'll be starting a new team, new scheme every year. Nothing to grow from, just starting over and over. Trust Pete. He knows how to draft. Just look at who he drafted this year. Keep building.
All right, welcome back here inside the den. Mike Davis, James Eric Barrickman IV. James, we asked everybody at home, will Pete Carroll be the head coach of the Silver and Black in 2026? I think my answer is, I don't know. You know, I could see it going a myriad of ways. I could see him retiring. I could see him being kind of forced out with a retirement. I could see him being fired. I could see him staying. There's so much to unpack. Mark Davis is still paying Antonio Pierce. He's still paying John Gruden. He's still paying Josh McDaniels. So, I mean, and like our caller Jesse just said, you can't keep just rebuilding and rebuild. You know, there's got to be some continuity 1,000%. At some point, you know, and so I don't know.
I agree on all of those things.
My other point, just to say, is like, I don't know who wants this job. You know, and that's the issue, is like Ben Johnson was the belle of the ball of the coaching cycle last year. Brady reportedly really wanted him. He took the job in Chicago, leaving Detroit because they have Caleb Williams. They have a franchise quarterback. I just don't know in this coaching cycle if there's three guys and maybe one or two are the premier, you know, prime coaches you want. I don't know why they would take this job over another.
I think Pete Carroll's future. First off, if I had to lean one way or another, if I was just a betting man and I had to bet one way or another, is Pete going to be here next year? I would say no. But I think his future kind of hinges on how this season ends. If they lose out, they acquire the number 2 pick, the number 1 pick, and they're in a position to draft a Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, I think Pete's gone. And you have the ability and kind of the leverage with that draft capital to pull in one of these potential head coaching candidates, because
that's a good point.
That pick makes you attractive. And if you do get that pick, I think you do need to cut bait with Pete and go out there and hire the hottest offensive mind on the market.
It's a good
I just don't know who that is.
It's a good point. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, you know, obviously liked the job in Washington with the Commanders because of Daniels, right? And he stayed there to develop a young quarterback like that. So, yes, that could be a really good point. If you do get that first overall pick, you know Mendoza's coming, you might attract a guy who just wants to be able to work with a young quarterback
1,000%.
who's a franchise QB.
And their pick of the litter, too.
Exactly. Let's go to a call we got from somebody at home, James.
I absolutely do not think that Pete Carroll is going to last through this season. Through next season. I absolutely don't think so. He's done a horrible job with coaching, play calling, just all in general, horrible. I don't think I want John Gruden to be back, but his allegations are not good. It's horrible. But I strongly do not believe that Pete Carroll is going to be back for another season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's already been the firing of Chip Kelly. He was the highest paid coordinator in the NFL, making $6 million a year. So he's already gone. The special teams coordinator is gone. The staff, the roster, it's depleted. It's not a pretty situation. You know, you do have Bowers. You do have Crosby. You do have great facilities. You do have a good franchise in terms of brand recognition and a place to be. It's a beautiful place to play,
no doubt,
at Allegiant Stadium. I just don't know if – here's my question to you, okay, James? Because I was wrong about this, and I've been meaning to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you this right now live on the show. How much of the Pete Carroll thing resembles the Belichick thing at UNC to you in terms of just a guy who once had it, but just is maybe just not up for the job in terms of being super detail oriented with every aspect, where you have to know the hirings have to be on point, the roster has to be on point, and you can't just lean on your guys. It's got to be you have to have maybe a little bit more of an energy, and Pete's got the most.
Pete's got plenty of energy, right.
But I'm just saying, maybe once you're at a place in your career where nobody can question you, maybe that's not a good place to be when you're the Raiders organization, and you need somebody who's got to do or die, make or break situation. Like a Ben Johnson, if he flounders in Chicago, it's over. You know, he might not get another head coaching job. Do you think we need somebody who has that kind of pressure?
That kind of, yeah, you need somebody with a little more, what's the word? Fear of failure.
Yeah.
Pete's won at the highest level. Belichick's won at the highest level, so their reputation is solidified. What I think, this is just my problem, and me and our boy Colin Cowherd, me and him are very much aligned on this. I think this is the problem with old defensive head coaches in general. Just kind of stuck in their ways. Pete, Belichick, Tomlin now, to an extent, a little bit John Harbaugh. I would not hire, if I were an owner, I would not hire an old defensive head coach, because you look at the way Belichick ended, the way Carroll's career is maybe ending. We're going to bring in our guys that we used to win with. We want kind of more control than maybe we need in terms of roster management. And it's proven that it's not been a winning formula. So that's where I think it kind of aligns there between Belichick and
your
Carroll.
call is he's out.
I wouldn't want him back. And the more I think about it, yeah, you want continuity and all that, and I think the Raiders do need that. Do you trust a Pete Carroll coaching staff to develop a young quarterback at this point? Because I don't. Bring in the hottest offensive mind on the market. And I think this Week 17 game of the Giants is massive for the Raiders' future. If you win that game, it's like almost like 6 more weeks of winter. It's like 6 more weeks of sucking. I think that game's massive because you need the number 1 pick, and you want your pick of the litter in terms of the coaching cycle.
Yeah.
Some guy, the hottest offensive mind in the market, who can come in and help you out and get his pick of the litter in terms of young quarterbacks. I think it's massive.
I just watched Geno Smith have a career game in Week 17. That's or Kenny Pickett. Let's knock on wood. We got all this wood in front of us. Let's knock on this. We need a 1st or 2nd overall pick. Knock on that, baby. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Sound Off Sports. For editor Jess, producer James, I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you guys next time here in the den for Sound Off Sports.